As you guys can see right in the middle, we happen to be #1 in all the young universities in Australia. So what that means is out of all the unis that are 25, 30 years old, we're #1. If you look at those numbers up here, that probably doesn't mean a lot to you guys now, but let me see if I can explain it to you. So all these different rankings often get universities from all the planet. And for this specific stuff, there's 25,000 universities that were assessed and ranked. And out of those 25,000 unis, we happen to be in the top 100 list. This one up here specifically is looking at graduate employability. And what that means is how many students, or what percentage of students from UTS will get a job within 12 months of graduation in that specific area of study. So for example, if you guys did a course in, I don't know, cybersecurity, how many students will get a job in cybersecurity after finishing that study? For UTS, at least 85% of the students will get that. And that's why we're in the top 100 list. If you guys look at this one up here on the right-hand side, we've got the QS stars. This one is a bit of a ranking system, kind of similar to when you buy an appliance and you look at the energy ratings and yeah, something like that. But this one is a bit different. It looks at the quality of the teaching. It looks at the employability of the graduates, which is what we just said. It looks at how international the university is. And by that, it means, well, I mean, how many joint programs it's got with different unis overseas, or different programs that allow students to go and study overseas, or bring in academics from overseas to give you guys, teach you guys about specific stuff. And it also looks at research development. How advanced is the research being conducted by the university? So looking at those 4 parameters, this is how you get this rating. And we tick all the boxes for all these different dimensions, and that's why we have 5 out of 5 stars. On the left-hand side, you probably guys can see the #1 in computer science, and Luke and I are quite proud of this one, because as we said before, we're academics from the School of Computer Science. And again, to come up with this ranking, what they do is they look at 3 different parameters. They look at the reputation of academics, like Luke and myself. They look at the research impact. So how impactful is the research conducted by those academics? Is it helping to make a better society? Is it helping a specific community with the specific needs? Is it good research? That's what they look at. They also look at the reputation from employers. Like, for example, they look at all the companies that have employed graduates from the university, and they get their opinion on the quality of the graduates. So if you put all of this combined, we get the #1 ranking here. If you guys look at the last one, 150, we happen to be in the top 150 list of unis out of 25,000 again, if you look at popularity and performance. And just so you guys get an idea of how big we are, if I'm not mistaken, we have 15,000 students in the whole uni, and almost 3,000 of those students are postgraduate students doing IT courses in the faculty. So hopefully this will give you guys a better idea of what UTS is, how big it is, and how good it is as a uni. And now let me get into different areas of studies. So as I said before, we're going to talk about only IT, and we have different disciplines here. As you guys can see, it's quite diverse. So we've got information systems, we have interaction design, we have animation and visualization. We have a couple new courses, and this is really exciting because these couple, the last ones, didn't exist 6 months ago. This is brand new stuff out of the oven, and we're quite excited to have these for you guys now. So we have cybersecurity and artificial intelligence. So for all these programs, we have, well, for most of them, we have a graduate certificate, which is a 6-month course, but also we have master's degrees, which can go for 1 year, well, 1.5 years, or up to 2 years. And I'm going to get into one of each of these in a second. Okay, so information technology. This one, it's quite funny because you get a lot of understanding in an advanced knowledge in different areas of IT, but at the same time, you can specialize yourself in one specific thing and be really, really good at it. So it's one of those courses that gives you guys that flexibility to become really proficient in one aspect, but also it gives you guys the chance to get a better understanding of different fields in the IT space. So for example, if you guys have jobs as IT project managers, or if you guys want to get jobs as an IT project manager, of a business analyst, or a information systems manager, this is the course for you. This goes for 2 years. And then in those 2 years, you'll take 16 subjects. So the way it works at UTS is every semester you take 4 subjects. Each subject equals 6 credit points. I'll talk about this a bit later. So each of those subjects, or we have different packages of subjects, which will help you guys sort of get to the end. So for this one, you'll take 4 subjects from the professional stream. That means courses such as enterprise systems, databases, software engineering, networking, that kind of basic stuff. Then you'll take 3 subjects from the core. And that's when you guys take things like technology research preparation, project management, IT professional and society. And those subjects will teach you guys how to be, a perfect IT person that can communicate with higher management, but also IT professionals. And those courses will help you guys with writing, for example, project proposals when you need to get approval from higher management, but also it will help you guys communicate with a team of developers or designers and get your project done. Also, you have 6 subjects that you can take from one of the majors. The majors are listed here on the screen, as you guys can see. So you can go with business information systems, or cybersecurity, or data analytics, or interactive media, or internet working. I used to teach that one. It's quite cool. Software development, or you can just take electives. That's up to you. Now let me get into the next one. So this one is interaction design, and this one is quite interesting. I'm a bit biased here because I teach quite a few of these subjects, especially the games ones. So it's quite cool. So this one, it's about designing interactive digital products. And some of you might be wondering, what will that be? And I'll give you guys an example. We all use one of these. This is a digital product, and we need professionals that know how to design things for these devices. So for example, things like designing the user interface of your phone, or for example, designing the user interface of a specific application, or for example, designing a game that runs on your phone and that kind of stuff. So that's why this course sort of focuses on learning the audience that you guys are designing for. So if you're interested in jobs such as a UX designer or a multimedia engineer, or even now, Vivid, it's happening in Sydney, this massive exhibition of lights, color, and installations and interactive systems. Most of that stuff, it's designed by interaction designers, and it's developed by people with skills that can create digital experiences. This course takes, it goes for about 1.5 years, and you have to take 12 subjects. And this one is quite simple because you take subjects from the core A, you take subjects from the core B, and then you have a choice. So that choice will have 4 more subjects. From core A, you basically get into interaction design related subjects, such as fundamentals of interaction design, advanced interaction design, storytelling, prototyping, and that's kind of building things, building tangible products, building tangible prototypes. Whereas core B is more about learning about the audience that you guys are designing for. So as you guys can see in core B, we have subjects such as human-centered design, which is learning, kind of putting yourself in the shoes of the person that you're designing for, understanding the limitations, preferences, motivations, just to make sure that you deliver the best experience that you can with your digital product. From the choice, it depends on what your interests are or is. You can go with data analytics, you can go with game design, highly recommended, or you can take, for example, a graduate research project, which effectively gives you a flexibility to investigate and explore any topic that you like, as long as it makes sense to us, of course. Let me get to the next one. So this one is really cool as well. It's the Master of Animation and Visualization. And this is one of those one-of-a-kind offerings that I don't think many universities have. This one is, we've been working with Animal Logic, and probably you know those guys from things like the Lego Movie or Happy Feet or all these 3D animation movies that are quite famous now. So we actually have a partnership with them to offer you guys the best course that you can imagine. So this one is a bit different to the other ones because this one doesn't have quizzes or exams or assignments. You don't even have classes per se. You don't have a lecture. Instead, you work on a 9-to-5 project for a whole year. So think of this as a job where you get to work with industry experts and you actually get to use state-of-the-art technology. So we have a dedicated space for this stuff. This one in principle has 3 subjects, but I'll please say instead of subjects, those are like stages of the project. So for example, in March, which is the beginning, you have the Connect Studio, and that's when you guys come up with new ideas for the project that everyone in that course will be working on for the whole year. Then you have the Collaboration Studio, which happens in the middle. That's when you guys learn how to use the tools, like for example, Unity or the Unreal Game Engine, or things like Maya for 3D modeling. And then towards the end, which is around September, that's when you guys have the challenge phase. That's when you produce a masterpiece. And that's when you produce something as a team. So for example, if hypothetically you have 100 students taking this year, those 100 students will be working on a specific element of that masterpiece. And that makes this really cool. So it's really intense, but at the same time, it's quite condensed. So you get a lot of learning opportunities. And it all happens within the 1-year time frame. And you produce a really fantastic portfolio piece that can help you get a job in the future. Okay, so now we move into a new stuff, which as I said before, these are new offerings. And we're really excited about this one because they didn't exist in the past. And the reason why we came up with this is, we keep an eye, or we work really closely with industry. And this is one of those offerings that sort of try to meet industry needs. So cybersecurity is a big deal these days. As you guys know, we all use tech like this, phones, computers, tablets, and even things connect to the internet these days. Don't know if you guys have heard of IoT, Internet of Things. So for example, your fridge connects to the Wi-Fi now. In some cases, your coffee machine connects to the Wi-Fi. And a whole bunch of devices are now getting online. So this stuff, it's a really practical course where you guys learn how to create and manage a secure network, how to create and manage secure systems. And effectively, you work with emerging areas of cybersecurity. So for example, you can apply for jobs such as a security analyst for a company, or you can be a security engineer, or you can be an ICT security specialist. So, this stuff really teaches you what you need to know to make sure that your network is protected or your ecosystem of technology is protected. So this stuff goes for about a year and a half. You have to take 12 subjects, and we have 3 different sort of blocks of subjects. The core, which is effectively 4 subjects where you guys learn about networking, local networks, and routing. You also learn about Unix systems or Linux systems, and you have a bit of an introduction to cybersecurity. Also, you guys learn about risk management, which effectively is how you guys find the issues in a network, or you find the issues in a system, and how you guys propose solutions that will fix those issues. The second block of subjects is what we call the core options. So this one is a list of subjects where you can pick from, and you can take up to 6 subjects here. And some of the cool subjects the students often take are cloud security. So as you guys know, everything these days happens in the cloud. We don't store data anymore in our computers, at least not everyone does. We teach you guys about cryptography as well, cybersecurity for mobile platforms like this, digital forensics. So for example, a hacker gets into your bank account and they need to find how that person got into the system to steal that money. So cybersecurity is being able to identify flaws in your system or your whole network and protect them and make sure that that attack doesn't happen again. So that kind of stuff you learn from this subject. There's also a subject on security in IoT devices, like Internet of Things. And there is also a subject on appliances for network security. So there's actually dedicated machines to protect your network. It's not just some router like the one you guys get from your internet provider. There's actual appliances to make sure that the whole network is secure. Finally, you have 2 more subjects from the project stream. And this one again is technology research preparation, which teaches you how to write a proposal and how to communicate between upper management and a group of professionals. But also you get 6 months to work on your project, that project that you propose in the first subject. So as you guys can see, it's quite comprehensive, and it touches on different aspects of cybersecurity. I'm gonna get into the next one, which is artificial intelligence. Once again, this is brand new stuff, and we're quite excited about this one. This one will teach you guys not only the fundamentals, but also advanced knowledge in artificial intelligence. And some of the fields that are quite popular these days are data analytics, data visualization, machine learning, deep learning, and a whole bunch of things. So for example, you'll get specific knowledge in things like neural networks, deep learning, reinforcement learning, and most importantly, ethics in AI. So some of the jobs that you guys can potentially apply for once you take this course will be machine learning engineer. For example, you can be a senior data manager or a data scientist, and banks are quite keen on getting people like that. So these days, being good with data and being able to get the computer to exploit that data, it's one of those skills that big organizations need. And yeah, this course will help you guys with that. Now, this course goes for 2 years, which means you'll be taking 16 subjects, again, 4 subjects a semester. And this one has got different blocks of subjects. So you have the core stream, you have core options, you have the professional stream, you have the sub-major, and you have the project stream. So as you guys can see, it's quite intense. But the beauty of that is from each of these blocks, you can take really cool subjects. So for example, from the core stream, you'll be taking things like Intro to Artificial Intelligence. It's an introductory course on how to do artificial intelligence stuff. You'll get some fundamentals of software development, fundamentals of data analytics. Also, you guys will learn about advanced data analytics and algorithms, as well as data visualization. So it's ways to visualize data to get meaning out of it. From the core options, you can take really cool subjects such as business intelligence and decision support. And this stuff is really important. So back in the day, people used to make decisions based on what they thought was appropriate for the business. But these days, we collect data in so many ways. And if you guys get really proficient at getting patterns and getting meaning out of that data, you can actually make decisions that will help the business to grow and will help the organization to achieve the goals. So you guys will learn all this stuff in that subject. We'll teach you guys, we actually work closely with the big tech companies as well. So one of the subjects is called Architecting Amazon Web Services, which is quite relevant these days. We have a subject on neural networks and fuzzy logic. And we also have subjects on quantum computing, which is one of the cool topics in IT at the moment. From the professional stream, you can take subjects such as technology and innovation management. One of the most important ones, the ethics of data and AI. As you guys know, a lot of devices collect data these days. And probably if you guys use Google or certain, I don't want to say names specifically, but certain mail providers, you're going to notice that sometimes they go and say things like, this person sent an email to you, you haven't replied in 5 days. It's like they're looking at your emails, but not quite. So this stuff is about that. We also have 2 sub-majors from which you get to take 4 subjects. One of the sub-majors is computer vision, and the other one is natural language processing. So computer vision is being able to identify or find things in images, like things like, for example, having this CCTV camera on the train station, someone falls off the platform, being able to detect that just by using artificial intelligence. That's one of the applications, for example, or natural language processing, which is being able to talk to computers in a more human way and getting answers from the computers in a more human way again. Finally, you have the project stream, which again has the technology research preparation subject and a dedicated subject where you guys get to work on your project. Now, let me get into the different offerings. So as I said to you, there's different study or areas of studies, but we also have different sort of commitment levels depending on your needs and what you guys want to achieve. So for example, if you want to get a bit of an idea of what it's like to study at UTS, we have a free online taster course. You can take on that, join a class, see what it's like, see if you like it. And if you do, you can enroll in one of the bigger ones. We also have short courses where we teach you guys specific skills in a couple of days or a couple of weekends. We actually have all of those listed in the website. We also have micro credentials, and these are quite popular in the local industry. So for example, we've been helping big companies and upskilling their personnel with, the latest in, say, AI or the latest in cybersecurity. So we've developed micro courses where, they go for about a semester and they learn a lot about certain topics, and that way they don't have to do a whole degree on certain things. So that's really good if you need to get a specific set of skills that will make you better at your job. But we also have the more traditional stuff like these ones. So we have graduate certificates, and this is when the credit point system really makes more sense. So as I said to you guys, one subject equals 6 credit points. So if you guys go for a graduate certificate, that means you have to complete 24 credit points worth of subjects, which means you'll have to take 6 subjects, and that's a semester worth of studies. Hang on, 4 subjects. That's 4 subjects. If you guys study for a whole year and take 8 subjects, you'll be completing a graduate diploma. If you guys go for masters, that's 72 credit points. That's 1.5 years of studies full-time. And then we have these 2, which are 2 years long. And one of these, I can't remember which one, apologies for that, will help you guys transition into doing a PhD a bit later. Now, in terms of fees, that's one of the common questions we get. Jamie, how much is it? So as I said before, the credit point system is quite important here. So the way this is calculated is your study will require that you complete certain credit points. So if you take the cost of 1 credit point multiplied by the number of credit points you have to complete, that's how you get the amount. So for example, here for the graduate certificate in IT, you'll have to complete 24 credit points, which means you'll be paying something around $15,900. And yeah, we also have a couple more examples at the bottom. The Masters of IT, each credit point is $663. So if you multiply that by 96, you'll get the amount that you'll have to pay for the whole course.
So I guess some of the key things that you'd like to know after hearing Jamie's presentation today is what should you do before you apply? Some of our key learnings is obviously to check the session dates, the admission requirements for the course that you're interested in, the required documents that need to be certified when applying, your English proficiency for the course that you're interested in, and the recognition of prior learning guidelines. Just note that this is different for each and every applicant as it's a unique situation to what they've studied in the past. Now, how you apply. On your screen, we've got 2 QR codes available, one for domestic and one for international, if you'd like to check out the application link there. And just a friendly reminder that for the next semester, our application deadlines do close on the 26th of June. Now, we also have the Master of Animation and Visualization, which Jamie went into quite a great length at previously. And just with applying for that course, what happens is you have a selection rank out of a portfolio, which includes images, videos, and other links to the course itself, an academic record if applicable, and a personal statement as to why you want to apply. There's many examples that you can reach out to the Animal Logic Academy at UTS directly to get inspiration from, and they'll always help you when it comes to putting through an application. At the moment, our applications are now open for the International 2022 intake. So it's good to get your applications ready. Common questions. We always have a various amount of questions, especially when it comes to fees assistance, credit recognition, timetables, obviously for our international students, what's involved there, and any short courses or scholarships that we might have available.